Hi, I'm Sophia Dueñas, and this is Dashes Are a Writer's Best Friend, a video workshop about my favorite punctuation marks, dashes. There are a few different dashes with lots of different uses, so let's start by comparing dashes. First we have the hyphen, which is the shortest dash, and the hyphen connects related words to form compound words, and also indicates stuttering or other rapid breaks in speech. And so a couple examples of the first case of use would be well-known and self-esteem. These are both hyphenated compound words. And then a really famous example of using a hyphen to show stuttering would be when Shaggy goes "Zazazoink, Scoob" in basically every Scooby-Doo adaptation. Next we have the en dash, the second shortest dash, which identifies ranges, including those of pages, months, years, and anything else that you can think of. The first three examples I have are those things that I mentioned, pages, months, and years, using the en dash. And the last one is the same range in years as the one previous to it, so 1943 to 2009. But you can see in the second version, I've used a hyphen, which less clearly separates the two dates from each other. Lastly, we have the longest dash, the em dash, which sets apart explanations, descriptions, or information, and can also indicate an interruption, most often in dialogue, but also in narration or thought. And so the two examples that I have here are, while driving, yes, on my own, I saw a deer in the road. And then, but I thought you said. The first adds information, while the second shows an abrupt end in speech. A little bit more about em dashes is that they are often used in place of parentheses, commas, and colons to create emphasis or connect clauses. They're especially great for tangents, which is really great for my creative and academic writing because I love a tangent. If I have the opportunity to go on a tangent, I probably will, especially with my creative writing. The following is an excerpt from the Merriam-Webster website page about em dashes that I think clearly sums up when you would want to use commas versus parentheses versus em dashes in a sentence. When commas do the job, the material is most closely related to what's around it, and when parentheses do the job, the material is most distantly related to what's around it. When dashes do the job, the material is somewhere in the middle. And here's our first try it yourself section. We have a hyphens warm-up. So pause the video, give yourself a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes tops, and pick a character, object, or setting from one of your works in progress, or even a piece of media you adore. We want to make sure, that it's quick. You can do this quickly. And make a list of a few hyphenated adjectives you would use to describe them. And feel free to get really creative with them. And then once you have those few adjectives, ask yourself some of these questions. How would you incorporate these hyphenated adjectives into your writing? Do you think they would be more or less useful or accurate than a non-hyphenated adjective? Why or why not? Now let's take a closer look at what em dashes look like in practice. So here I have two excerpts from chapters 1 and 2, respectively, of Henry James's The Portrait of a Lady. The first one, I don't believe it. I believe things are getting more serious. You young men will find that out. The increasing seriousness of things then, that's the great opportunity of jokes. The second, she was bareheaded, as if she were staying in the house. A fact which conveyed perplexity to the son of its master, conscious of that immunity from visitors which had for some time been rendered necessary by the latter's ill health. Meantime, the two other gentlemen had also taken note of the newcomer. In these excerpts, James uses the em dash to begin new related clauses, similarly to a comma or a colon. Now let's take a look at using an en dash as an em dash. This is an excerpt from the first chapter of Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. Wicked and cruel boy, I said. You are like a murderer. You are like a slave driver. You are like the Roman emperors. I had read Goldsmith's History of Rome, and had formed my opinion of Nero, Caligula, etc. Also, I had drawn parallels in silence, which I never thought thus to have declared aloud. "What? What?" he cried. "Did she say that to me? Did you hear her, Eliza and Georgiana? Won't I tell Mamma? But first—" Here, Bronte, or perhaps her publishers, uses n-dashes with spaces on either side to replace m-dashes. This is favored in British and UK publishing, while m-dashes are preferred in American publishing. The n-dash with accompanying spaces is also used by news outlets. Like American publishing, I too prefer to use an m-dash as an m-dash. I like the look of the longer dash much more. And that's why I no longer write for my university's newspaper. You'll also notice that in this excerpt, Bronte first uses the n-dash to indicate an aside, and then uses one to indicate that the second speaker has been cut off. Here's another try-it-yourself section, and this is a quick write rather than a warm-up, so this time pause and give yourself between 15 and 20, maybe even 30 minutes to write. You can pick one of these prompts, or even all three if you feel like it. Although, if you do pick all three, I'd recommend spending a little bit more time with the video paused. The first prompt is use m-dashes in your own writing the way James uses them in his. So that's the first example. The second prompt is use m-dashes in your own writing the way Bronte uses them in hers. So that would be the second example. The third prompt is to mix and match, but use lots of m-dashes. So for that one, you can switch up between James and Bronte's styles, or you could even incorporate the m-dash usage style of your favorite author, or any author whose style you really like. Once you're finished writing, ask yourself some of these questions. Was the m-dash style you chose different or similar to how you usually use m-dashes? What stuck out to you the most while writing? Do you enjoy using m-dashes? You might even ask yourself why you answered the way that you did for some of these questions. Finally, here's a little bit about typing dashes, so that going forward you can more fluently incorporate them into your writing. For the n-dash in Google Docs, type 2 hyphens in a row. For Word, type 2 hyphens preceded by a space. For a MacBook, hold down Option and press the hyphen key. For Windows, you'll have to use a numeric keypad and type Alt 0150. For an m-dash in Google Docs, type 3 hyphens in a row. For an m-dash in Word and Pages, type 2 hyphens in a row without any spaces. For a MacBook m-dash, hold down Shift, Option, and then the hyphen. And for Windows, again using the numeric keypad, type Alt 0151. And in some cases, it may be easiest to set up your own keyboard or autocorrect shortcut. Thanks so much for watching this video workshop. If you have any other questions about how to incorporate hyphens, n-dashes, or m-dashes into your own writing, I highly recommend checking out the Merriam-Webster website that I talked about earlier in the video, and or checking in the Chicago Manual of Style. Thanks again!